Today, we're talking with Joel Fleishman, Chairman of the Urban Institute Board of Trustees and Professor of Law and Public Policy at Duke University.
The great American secret is that foundations have done a lot of good for society over the years. That the book really was premised on the notion that the public doesn't understand the impact that charitable foundations have had and are having. The reason it's a great American secret is, despite all the things that foundations have done, and that and many of which the public knows have been done, but has no idea that foundations had anything to do with it. You take something as pervasive as the 911 emergency response number. Everybody knows to call 911 at this point if they have a problem, or if there's an emergency, or if somebody gets stricken with a heart attack suddenly. Nobody knows that it was financed at the beginning and developed into the system it was, and turned over to the federal government entirely by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. I think that the most important contribution of foundations is really in its being the source of money for social renovation, social innovation in American society. Why is it important that people know? And the answer is, to the extent that the public doesn't know about the benefits that foundations confer on the society, then the public is all too willing to be led by muckraking politicians and journalists into thinking that foundations don't do anything, and that therefore when one of them screws up by making mistakes of one sort or another, they are much too quick to try to impose all kinds of regulatory restrictions on the foundations. And we've seen that's exactly what happened in 1969 when the Tax Reform Act was passed. The Tax Reform Act probably did some good things, I think it did, but the fact is it did some bad things. And it resulted because after a decade-long series of hearings on Capitol Hill about the misdeeds of foundations. It's important for people to know about what foundations have done so that they don't screw up and kill the goose that laid the golden egg. And that's why I wrote the book. And that's why the book really talks about the importance of foundations being much more open about what they do, being much more aggressive about developing outreach, communications policies, and making clear to the public why they're doing what they're doing, and in fact making clear to the public what they're doing.